Good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing swell. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. Doing really good. Waiting for everybody to join. See, I have a lot more people coming in, so everybody's starting to come. Okay. Everybody's starting to come. Okay, let me just keep adding more people to it. Okay, close my door.
Oh
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Morning, Tom.
Good morning.
I was thinking, you know, maybe we can go by there and say hi, give Nico a chance to play with it.
Huh? Oh no, which side? Let's go on mute.
Me too, me too.
Can you say hi?
Okay. Hi.
You see the other baby?
Let's give it a few more minutes, people to continue to join us. I know Helen won't be here today, and Dan Quinn, both are out. Okay, I guess we get going. I don't know that anybody else is going to join us. So, morning, Eric.
Good morning, Robert.
You want to
Good morning,
start
everybody.
first?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, real estate stories from the week. Anybody want to share anything that was especially exciting or difficult or anything at all? Just jump in. Well, I'll share something real quick that I'm supposed to settle the sale of a home tomorrow, and I got word that the loan was denied over the weekend because the appraisal came in low. This is for a piece of land. And so it's one of the more difficult things in real estate is to call your client and tell them that you are sorry, but we're going to need to find a way to make this work and come up with a creative solution. So because we're not order takers, we're problem solvers. And that's what we need to remember before we call our client. We want to try to come up in our understanding with a solution to the problem, even if there's no solution to get this particular sale to settlement. What is the next step? What are the plans for what we're going to do from here? And if you're new in the business or just kind of doing it, not doing a ton of it, it's stepping back and realizing, okay, well, if we're going to have to go back on the market, how can I present this in a very positive fashion to our client right now? Anybody have any suggestions on why losing a contract now could be beneficial? Come up with your best ideas and share them with me now.
Because
no
it
wrong
gives you other time to prep.
Yeah, okay, good. That's it. There you go. Gives us further time to prep. And the WIFM, as we say, the what's in it for me, I like to say the WIFM, and this is coming from an old teacher that I had named Floyd Wickman. The WIFM is there's more time to prep so that we can sell your home for more money. Okay. So it's again about getting them something better than what you've had potentially, the WIFM. So that's the good news, and that's a great thing to say. That's good language, good dialogue. Is look, it's very upsetting that this has happened, but the good news is that that we can prep the house a little bit better and sell it hopefully for more money. Now, This is a piece of land, so there's nothing there. So that particular statement won't work in this situation, but I'd say 98% of the time it'll work fine. So good thinking. Was Sarah who said that? Was that?
No,
who-
no, it was me. It was Keely.
Keely. Okay. Hi. How you doing, Keely? Okay. What's another benefit?
Always relisted at a higher price if the market is there.
Okay. Right. So if the market is there, what time of year is it now compared to where we'll be in 3 months?
You got
It's
cut
gonna
off.
be stronger. There's gonna be a lot more. Oh, sorry. It's gonna be a much stronger market. in
You sounded like a
just
robot.
3 months. We are 3 months from the spring market. Okay. So I would regroup. Hey, Robert, can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay, I've cut my video. I'm under some trees here, and I guess the signal's not great.
That's fine.
Yeah, so yeah, just think about the time of year. Can you find a positive spin? Is there something you can possibly say rather? I've got a property that's under contract in Potomac Woods, which went to contract at 690 with just the right to walk away, but the buyers had a home inspection and killed the contract unless the seller would go to 650. And this was the second time we've been through this. And so I had to walk my client through a process of adjusting her expectations, and rather than just going to 650, coming down a little bit, basically renegotiating the price to 670, and the buyers have stayed in the process, and we'll go to settlement in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so. So we're in a difficult environment in that houses that settle now tend to settle. There's a little more weakness in the market. The buyers know it. The sellers are afraid the market won't get better, and it will get better in 3 months. We will have a better market, and it will be much better. It's dramatic compared to last year. Think about when I sold houses in December, and then just 3 months later, I was selling houses for 8 to 9% more. You could not imagine it. Back in May and April, you could not imagine that the market would not be as hot as it was then 3 months later, and yet it was. There's just a rush that will come. So my seller wants to settle the 670. They want to be done. They're willing to take the price down to be done now. The land, I'm working the land contract still and holding firm with the other agent. We're not going to capitulate because my client doesn't want to take less. And we're working to try to get an extension on the financing to allow the buyer to figure out another way to make it work. Because they're not going to get another offer right now for the land for what they have an offer for because of the market temperament. So questions on anything I've said?
So could it be possible that the seller will be entertain seller financing on the land for the same buyer?
That's an interesting idea. I hadn't thought of that, Robert. Hadn't thought of that. That is a good idea. It is possible. The other agent has intimated that the buyer is willing to make up the $100,000 if given more time. And so the question is, can they provide verification that they have that money available to do that, right? But maybe the seller would say, hey, let's just settle as we planned, and I'll take $100,000 note back at 5%, and then just create an income stream for themselves, of $400 a month in simple interest until the land is paid off. That's a good idea. Does everybody understand what Robert meant?
No. Can someone explain?
Robert, would you?
Sure. So basically what happens here is if the seller owns the house or the lot completely, there is no mortgage. And even when there is a mortgage, but let's say they own it completely, So then the buyer goes and gets a loan for X amount. So in this case, I think the property was $1 million. And I think we're talking about $100,000 difference. So the buyer will go and get a loan for $900,000. And then the seller will act as a bank on the other $100,000 and it will be financed. So then the buyer will be making two payments, one to the lender and one to the seller. And those, I don't know if the length of those loans when it's a seller financing will be 15 or 30 years. Normally, they're a little bit shorter than that. But I think that's an option. And so the seller can make some money, and then later on, the buyer can refi once they build the property, and once there's a house already built on the piece of land, and they can refi and then pay the seller off that $100,000, and they just have one loan. And this is just a stepping stone to get where the buyer needs to get, and they may need the seller's help in this case.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Is that right, Eric?
That's correct.
So that's how, and again, as Eric said, you're getting paid to put things together. So this is just another way to put it together, and you're probably going to need the help of a settlement attorney like Helen Dankos to help you draft the note for these seller financing policy.
Anybody else have a story they want to share or questions?
Okay, I have a celebration.
Okay.
I am going to closing on December 2nd for a house that, oh my gosh, has been, yikes. It's been a journey. It was filthy, and beneath all the filth, it had problems that like you cannot even, just awful. So after a price adjustment and then another price adjustment after and a contingency for inspection, we're finally going to settlement, and I could not be happier. And we made it through appraisal, and I had my fingers crossed, and I have no idea how much we made it through appraisal by, but it's been a little bit of a journey getting this property sold. It probably should have been sold as is, because it's like it's in that bad of shape. You just didn't realize it beneath all the grime, and once it was kind of clean, it was interesting. That was a definite learning curve for me. Was like, wait a second, you can't see a lot of things because of the dirt. What? That's crazy. So I'm just glad to get it to closing.
Good for you. Did you do a walkthrough after it was all completely cleaned up before hitting the market? Did you do one last walkthrough just to make sure that you were able to capture, visually speaking, some of these defects of the property before hitting the market?
No, you know what? It was just the most awful. It was so awful. I'm telling you, like, this was the biggest learning experience of my life. The seller told me that he had a cleaning team ready to go Monday, Tuesday. And that cleaning team, I don't know, he arranged that part himself. And I was like, okay. And then the cleaning team did not come until Friday, Saturday, and we were going live on Thursday. And he didn't tell me that until Thursday. And I was like, oh my goodness. And we had already been delayed a week, so I didn't get to see it. And it was awful. So it was just a big mess of not like, I guess I now am adjusting the way that I speak to my clients on, like, the timeline that it has to be clean by is this, end of story. Like, it cannot go onto the market unless it's clean 3 days, 4 days prior to opening onto the market, so I can see it and make sure that it's good to go. And it depends. I mean, that largely depends on the property. Like, some properties are not that dirty. This one was filthy, and I probably should have been more hardcore about it, but I didn't want to be mean. It's hard because that's so personal. That was a shock to me too, was that it's a really personal thing to tell somebody, like, it needs to be clean. Most people don't see the way they live.
That's good. That's a good thing that you were able to learn through this one. And the next one you will have to do a walkthrough to make sure that it's not this way. And another thing is when sellers get a little bit hesitant and wanted to do more because there may be a little bit of old school. It's like, I don't want to clean up this house for somebody else. It's also a good idea just to take them to listings that are nearby that you can see online and see how they have prepped these properties. So you just take them to preview 2 houses, and then you come to the conclusions as now you see the competition and how you think a buyer is going to feel after they see this house and then they see yours. Most likely, yours is not going to come on the top of the list. And I'm afraid that, later on, the only way we will have to go around this is either you do the proper cleaning or you have to take a hit on the price.
That's genius. I actually never thought about that. That's a good one. I like that.
It's not genius, Gil. It's called experience. I've been there many times.
Repeat that dialogue. Would you mind one more time? Just
Sure. So the way to do is you go and show them to 2 properties that are nearby, and then you go and say, now that you have seen these 2 other properties, Mr. Seller, now you see that what the competition is. How do you think a buyer is going to feel after they see this property versus ours? Most likely our property, it's not going to come on the top of their list to put an offer. And then we are going to be sitting longer on the market. So the only 2 solutions you're going to have is, 1, we either stage clean the property to look as the other ones around here, or 2, you'll have to cure it with making a price adjustment, which at this point, we don't know because those houses, are still in the market. But once they go under contract, then we'll have an idea of that. And that's basically, they don't want to hear a price adjustment like before going on the market. They want to hear the highest price. So with that in mind, most likely they'll spend the money on the cleaning.
so what's so, and I agree with Keely's statement on that. I think what's particularly excellent about that is also excellent in our everyday conversations with our family, friends, when we have a disagreement. And it really is allowing other people to draw the conclusion rather than telling them what to think. All right. What Robert did was he showed 2 houses, and then he asked a simple question: what do you think the buyers would think? And it's so obvious, there's just no argument with them thinking the thought themselves, right? Because they're the ones who think it, as opposed to you saying, well, looking at the houses nearby, a buyer is going to think X. And if they don't agree and you have that disparity in agreement, then gosh, that's a great way to lead your children, to lead people through conversation, is to show them something and ask them what they think about it. So, good job, Robert.
Thank you.
Yep. Who else?
Anybody had any challenge on properties that appointments you went and you didn't win? I mean, let's talk about everything, just anything that we all can learn from.
Well, I have the opposite of that. I had one of my first ever listing appointments that I went to back several months ago, probably in the summer. They had called me, or I had called them and followed up, and they said they were going with another agent. And then just a few weeks ago, they called me back and said, hey, things didn't work out. We really like you. We want to go with you instead. So that was really nice.
Good job.
I'm trying to tell a story, but I have a screeching toddler in the background. Let's see if I can do this in a minute really quickly. But I get a text from someone who claims to be an appraiser for a property that is currently under contract. And they were asking for access to the property. And my first thought was, okay, let me see if I can get them access to the property. But 5 minutes later, I just thought, why would an appraiser be texting me? Because I've never had an appraiser reach out directly to me, either Bethany kind of facilitates that. So before getting them access to the property, I told them to send an email to myself and Bethany. But long story short, I was just going through this whole mindset of what if it's a con artist, someone claiming to be an appraiser, but they were legit. But I thought that was odd. If you guys had an appraiser like reach out to you directly.
Yeah,
Actually,
it does
yeah,
happen. So Taya, what happens sometimes is like on a weekend, they may reach us here or send an email, which if we get it, we'll forward it to you. Or if not, they know like, oh, I better off just reach out to the alternative agent. And that's what happens sometimes. They reach out to you, but what you did is right. You always have to verify that the person reaching out to you is legit. And then they actually are going to be doing what they're supposed to be doing for your property. Because at the end of the day, you're responsible for giving access to a client's house through the lockbox. You're liable for that. So you better verify that. You know, sometimes I get agents that call me to say, hey, I want to show one of your listings, but my lockbox is not working. My central lock is not working today. And I'm like, okay, so then, you know, what do you want me to do? And they're like, well, can you give me a 1-day code? Well, before that, I need you to send me a picture of your business card. I need to know where you're affiliated with. Send me a text message. And then I will call the business card just to make sure that that person is legit. It's really affiliated with that agency, because if you are a realtor, you should have your tools to show houses, right? And one of them is just your central lock, whether it's the physical card or the app. Those are the things that you need to have. So when somebody calls me and tells me they don't have it, especially on the app, I'm like, I'm suspicious about that.
Tayo, you can also tell them, and many times, especially with escalation clauses and things in this market over the last year, if you're ever worried that the appraisal value is not going to be met, you're going to want to meet them at the property anyway. So, you know, if it's a scam, they're not going to want to meet you there, you know, but most likely if they're trying to do something to the house or steal something. So you can just say, hey, send me your contact information, and then we can work on a schedule that works for both of our schedules to meet you at the house. And that if it's a scam, they're probably going to get spooked and be like, okay, you know, this isn't going to be easy. I'll call the next property they're just going to give me the code versus having to meet this agent there. But you're going to want to meet them at the house anyway, most likely, you know, in this marketplace, on behalf of your sellers, just to make sure that you give them all the information you can to make sure it appraises.
Okay.
Oh yeah, especially in this kind of market right now, you want to verify that information, because you just never know who's on the other side. Like, you know, they have taken some of our listings, put them on Craigslist, and they're representing that those listings are available, and they have collected, and these are listings for sale that we have, and they are putting them for rent. And some people have collected, the scammers have collected money up front from the people applying for rent. And then they call us and says, hey, I thought I was supposed to meet you over here. It's like, no, we have no clue what's going on. And they have sent us the link to where the place was put up for rent and so on. So just be mindful that there's many ways that scammers can do things with our properties, not only to wanted to gain access, one, but two is just do illegal things like this, represent things that they're not true.
Okay. To Jim's point, is it just this market, or is that the norm to always meet with the appraiser when they come?
I'll let Jim answer that.
Certainly in this marketplace, usually in my listing appointment, you know, it's one thing that you can always use to differentiate yourself is tell them that you're going to meet that appraiser there. So certainly if you've mentioned it in your listing appointment as one of the benefits you're going to provide to them, if it's something you promised, you definitely got to show up. Conversely, if it's something that just didn't come up during your listing presentation, if it's a property that's been on the market for a while and maybe you did a price reduction and you know there's absolutely no chance at all that it's going to not appraise, maybe, you know, you can just get away with sending them comps and list of updates and go that route. But more often than not, I'm meeting the appraiser there. Sometimes it's only just for a moment or two. You you can really get a good idea from your appraiser as to how well they know the neighborhood, where they're coming from. You know, that's always one of the first questions I ask is, you know, when you're setting the appointment, you just say, where are you coming from? If they say, well, I'm coming from Manassas, and they're appraising a home in Montgomery County or DC, you're going to want to make sure you meet them there, because they may not know the school district, the area, the neighborhood versus where they live. You know, if they say, oh, I grew up in Montgomery County and I live in Silver Spring and I'm meeting you 10 minutes away. Okay, well, you know, that doesn't mean I'm not going to meet them there, but at least you have a certain level of confidence that they know the school district, the neighborhood, the commuter routes, public transportation, things like that, that can add value to the home. So yeah, I would say always plan on meeting the appraiser. And probably the minority of the time is when you can maybe get away with not meeting them there if it's just a slam dunk with value. And I've, even over the summer, when there was no appraisal contingencies, I was still meeting people there because it's just one less thing you need to deal with. Anything you can do to make it go smooth. And again, meeting an appraiser there doesn't take long at all.
Okay, noted. Thanks, Jim.
Good. Anybody else? Okay. Mr. Tabrisi, you have anything to report?
I do. Hope everyone's well and had a great weekend. I have one thing to report. Excuse me. It's not the most great news, but it's still news. I was given notice by Rachel last week that her last day with us will be December 1st, which I believe is a Wednesday, next Wednesday. She has found her next adventure. I believe they're still a nonprofit. It's at a nonprofit called LSS Libraries. Essentially what they do is they partner up with low income communities that need access to books and technology, and they're able to do that. So we wish her the best. I'm sad to see her leave, and I'm sure some of you are as well, but wish her nothing but the best. So what does that mean for you? We are going back down to just myself, and there's a lot of things happening. And so when you are putting in requests, please be mindful that it's just me. I don't have a virtual assistant. I don't have anybody helping me. So be mindful of that. If there are specific requests that I can have you do, I'll guide you through it. If it's something that needs to be done through marketing, then we'll discuss timelines. So just as an idea for you, something that used to potentially take about 5 or 6 days, with everything we have going on and with Rachel leaving, you'd be looking at about probably double, if not kind of close to triple that time. Again, depending on what time of year we are in. Your properties will still continue to get the same marketing as they have done in the past, so that will not affect that, but this will affect your mailers, or if you have an event that's happening, or anything that's to do with your specific marketing outside of property. So agents that are looking to do events, my suggestion is reach out to me now and let's talk about what events you have coming up and what we need to get done for you. Excuse me, but such other things such as mailers and things like that, they will take a little bit more time to get processed. So that's all that I have today. I don't have anything else unless anybody has any questions for me.
So Amir, when you said that things will change, so let me give you an example. If I would have some kind of event going on for a farm area, a past client event or something like that, and if before you needed, let's say 3 weeks notice, let's say my event is going to be like middle of January, right? It's plenty of time right now. If I wanted to do something by like the middle of January, with the manpower you have, is this enough time for you, or you will prefer like, give me like 2 months notice for like a big event? Like I'm talking something where maybe like what Jim does, donate and dump, or pie event or things like that. I mean, you're talking something like a little bit bigger.
So give me as much time as possible, right? So if you have an event that you're looking at in January, tell me now because we can plan it. Jim will attest to this. What we do, for example, for Jim's donate and dump, is we actually divvy up the tasks. So we take care of, let's say there's 10 things to do. Marketing will take care of, 3 to 5 things, and then Jim will do the rest of it. So there's always going to be that partnership. However, again, to that example, if Jim wants to do something in the middle of January, well, you should be telling me at least 4 to 5 weeks beforehand, not only because we're less staffed here, but because some things will take a lot longer to get out. So if your event includes mailing, know that USPS takes between 7 to 21 days. That's their timeline. With the holiday season coming up, it's going to be much longer than that. So take those things into consideration. So something that Jim has done a great job with is that he will come to us, kind of at the beginning of the year and say, hey, these are the events that I'm going to do. We have a timeline. We kind of go through and say, okay, Jim, reach out to us at this time for this, or so on and so forth. And then we always know in the back of our minds that that project is coming up. So this is a good time for you to think about what events you want to have done next year for your own farms or spheres or whatever that is. And then once you have an idea, or once you even start thinking about it, then reach out. Let's set up a time to kind of chat through it and see what that partnership will look like. Take this into consideration also. GCAR, NVA, or I think it's NVAR, or so the Maryland, DC, and Virginia Realtor Associations, they have been doing a lot of work with their legislations, meaning that if your branding or the information you are putting out there doesn't match what they need to see, and if it doesn't work within the 2-click rules, then you are subject to getting a fine anywhere between $1,000 to $10,000. So even if you are just posting something or have questions about what you want to post, reach out, text me, you can call me, we can sit down and talk about it. But just know that, the more we plan ahead and the more we have an idea of what it is you want to do, the better we can equip you to make sure that those events are not only successful, but set within the parameters that you guys have to stay within.
Okay, good. It's clear here, my friend. Okay. Anybody has any questions? No questions. Okay, good. Well, sorry to hear, Amir, that Rachel has to leave us, but I understand that, she's just looking for something different to do. So if you all see her or call her, wish her well, and we'll take it from there. Good. Okay, so I don't know that Eric was able to come back, so I'll just jump on the things I need to.
He's in, yeah, he just walked into his office. I think he's trying to get back on, but go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so I'll go ahead and jump here myself. Okay, guys, so today I'm going to be showing you all the new agent portal that I'm very excited to be able to release today to you all, so that it's as things come for next spring market, you'll definitely have a lot of this good information here. So let me share my screen real quick. Okay. Oops. Share screen options. I can share my screen. There you go. There you go. Okay. So welcome to the Eric Stewart Group Success Portal. So this is before Amir created the portal within HubSpot. But we understood that portal had a little bit of, some limitations. It wasn't like in the best format I can think of. And not that HubSpot is not good, but again, the limitations and the integration of the systems that we have, which a lot of them happen in Google. That's because that's our primary place for having to do all of the stuff that has to do with their business. So this is something that I will be emailing to you all later today. Some of you already have these in your saved up. So I will encourage you to save it here on your search bar right here up on top. And I can also send you instructions on how to do that. I normally use Google Chrome as a browser. That's my default one, but I can see if I find instructions for another type of browser that you guys feel more comfortable with and then send it over. But that would be my thing that I would like you to add it for your moving forward. So this is basically kind of like the welcome page and just kind of like talks about the 3 different locations where we have our offices. This has already updated the Chevy Chase Circle office where we moved there, and then we have the social media here. So very simple and easy to find us and follow us over there. Then you're gonna have here on the top, so this is your home, then you have broken down in operations, listing processes, sales processes, marketing, and the growth tools that we have created. So under operations, if you come here, just put your mouse, you don't have to click, then you have different menus that drop down here. So for example, if you were to go to the team meeting, you're gonna have the previous team meetings here with the agenda of the sales report, and they're recording the Zoom. So every phone call that we do here as a team gets recorded here. So if an agent wouldn't need to access to something that we said because he or she were not able to be present, then this is a place to go if you need to have that information. And this is what happens is once it start, there's going to be an archives right here. So then so you click over there. So just basically, I'm just going to sort it here by date, and all you have to do is just click on the thing and the link, and that's going to take you to with a report. And then, the other dates is going to start to drop down here. Then, so this is on the team meetings. Okay, so now we're going to have the vendor guide. So this is very important for you all because you're always needing somebody to look for things. So for now, this is like an embedded format, PDF format of all of our vendors. The only challenge is if you were to do a search for one of the names like air duct cleaning, for example, doesn't come up because it does not recognize this text. So what I'm working on is on the next version of this is that all these names are going to get dropped somewhere here and this organized in the same way where you here on the search here bar over there, you can just type the name of a contractor or a lender or locksmith and so on. And those things are going to start come up because it's going to be very easy to search them. But for now, this is all you have. So you're going to have to probably type it and send it over. And by the way, for those that have the newest version of the iPhone, if you're sending a text message to somebody, all you have to do is just do the text recognition, point your cell phone with a camera to the text, and then the camera reads the text. And once you see the text at the bottom of your text message that you like, then you can just press send. And that's all you have to do. So very simple to share some text, but that's, I think, iPhone 12 forward or 11 forward, just little. So this is what, it is for now. Then you're going to have ESG forms. So ESG forms has a lot of the things that we normally do here. So this is kind of like the summary, the true place. These are the ones that we use the most. The quiet listing, there's some people that still use the quiet listing intent. So we left it over there. Definitely the box brownie, the one page, the luxury bifold, and the contract summary. These are like the most used forms of all of them. So if you wanted to do something here, you're going to have different options. So let's say you need to place an order for a true place, right? So before I had it the same way, you're going to click on it, and then this will take you to the actual form that it lives in a different platform. So now we made it a lot easier for you. So once you click on it, now the form, it's embedded into the site. So now it's less clicks, less visiting different pages, less of having to remember passwords. So now this form lives within this agent portal. So all you have to do is just here, you see, just follow the steps and it just takes you where you need to be. Let's see the other forms. Okay, so let's say you need to process your contract. Same thing here. You click on it and the form opens right here and bingo. Just have to do is just fill this all out And this is what it goes to the transaction coordinator and to the internal operations. So this is super simple now. It's in one place. And those are the forms that we use the most. If you find a form that perhaps I did not include in this new version, we will, that we'll do the revisions to this thing and we'll include it on the second one. So this is not the finished product. This is just version 1 of it. So then external links and resources. So these are going to be all your different links that you're going to need: Brevity, Box, DocuSign, Dropbox, GCar, MD Land Records, Moco Public Schools, and so on. You have everything that we could imagine. It's all going to be here for you. And of course, you also have your LNF links also that you can have access to it. So you are placing a referral and you need the Long and Foster W9, boom, it's right here. So everything that it is that you have need access for it, we're going to have it in here in one place. Then real estate forms. So now we have getting into the actual forms that you need. Now, this doesn't mean that we are replacing Accelerate from Long and Foster. This is just a point of reference if you need a quick one-page form because you're doing a final walkthrough and you don't want to go to Accelerate. So this is the place for you to come. Or if you need it just as a guide to know what's for a listing template, a buyer template for the different places. So I'm just going to go into Maryland. And basically here are your different templates. And these are actual, they're not pictures, they're actual forms that live within the system. So if you would click on this little thing right there, it's actually going to take you where the form lives and you can download it and print it from there, a blank copy. So this is everything that you're probably going to need moving forward. This is for Montgomery County. Let me go back here. Virginia will be the same. You have both versions here for the counties that we use, do the most business. And DC only has, one set of templates here. So this is everything that you need. So if you have a listing appointment and you just don't have access to the system, here you go. You have this place to come, or even if Accelerate would be down, it always would be nice to have handy a blank copy of something so that you can use it. The challenge with this is, of course, you have to type it either by online, electronically, or by hand, or put all the information, but it's here. And it's a good point of reference for new agents as they go into knowing, what is it that I need for my listing packages and so on. And then we're going to have the frequent use forms, basically. For now, I have Maryland forms because I know these are the ones identified as the agents need to have like easy access. Again, this is an amendment to the listing agreement. This is just the listing agreement, the 7 pages of it. This is the utility. This is the HOA. This is the lead-based paint, the federal and the state blank addendum, the escrow agreement. So these are forms that sometimes are not necessarily put into the system through Accelerate. So this is like, I just needed 2 pages of a home inspection addendum for Montgomery County or DC. So you just go right here and grab them. And I have added a little bit more of other ones here so that you can use buyer agency agreement. So this is just a 1 page or whatever, however many pages the form contains. This is all that you have over here. So this is basically the stuff that we have. And again, this is work in progress. So you'll see other ones. And then we're going to have some of the webinars here also. So if you, the calendar, so if you want to know when the next webinars are going to be, so this is our calendar that we have. I don't think we have anything coming up right now, but I think it's in the future. You will see them over here, unless something is wrong with the form that perhaps got disconnected. But I'll double check with Amir on that. Amir, does this look, do we have any webinars in December?
Yeah, the 2nd and the 9th should be filled out. So
okay, so I'll have to check this. Maybe there is a this something, a disconnection here. Could not be shown because you don't have permission to view. Okay, so there's a permission thing. I'll take care of that. I'll fix it. But basically, it just show you here when the next webinars are going to be, and all you have to do is just if you need to send it to somebody, we will have the link to go into the site for you all to see it. But this is it's coming. We'll fix it and we'll be there. Okay, so this is on the operations side. So let's now go to the listing processes. So listing processes, we have a lot of bright new training over here. This is training that has been done by Bright MLS. This is on different things that they have done. So this is everything on the listing side. And I went and curated basically the content and look at the ones that probably you guys are going to need the most help with. Now, there should be something that I'm missing. Let me know, and I can always see if they have it, or I will do the video myself. And then you're going to have the pre-MLS listing protocols, the under contract protocols, price adjustment protocols, and open house protocols. So you're all familiar with a lot of these things because you've seen it before, but now they're all staying right here. And same thing with the under contract, right? So we have the under contract processes. I have included now the coming soon map, the heat map from the Eric Stewart group in here. So you guys can see the properties. And as always, all you have to do is click on the actual property to get the information. If we have a picture, it will be here. If not, it's only going to be the reference of the property, just like this one, right? That is just something that is coming on the market, but just want to let you know that quick now reference. Now, you will not be getting the email from Charlene every Friday. Here's a link to the heat map. We are removing that step. This is just for you to have it here available, so you can always go and look for properties. You have a client looking in only in Brookville, see what do we have coming soon over there. Maybe you can show it before hitting the MLS. We do have also some of the Bright MLS training videos. This is on the buy side. We encourage to use Brevity for home searches for clients, but sometimes I know those things don't all work the way you want it. So this is all that training. And then there is all the Brevity how-to videos. Remember, Brevity now has an app that I highly encourage you to encourage your clients to download it from your dashboard, and they can use it. But this is all your Brevity videos on how to do things. Okay. And then we're going to move to marketing. So this is Mr. Tabrizi has allowed me to use some of his forms over here. So this is when you have a need for, this is the master marketing form. When you have a need for something, you put your information here, okay, drop down menu, you put the property, and then you can choose from this. And depending what you choose from, another forms opens up and then asks for the details of the things that you're going to be needing. And then you submit, sign, and submit. And then we have a buyer newsletter form and then a social media request. This is one of those, it's like a slideshow type of thing that it goes in and out. So this is just on the marketing. I'm sure once we know how marketing's world is going to end up, we'll find out if this is something that we're going to make any changes to this. And of course, your growth tools corner. This is some of the books that we have encouraged some of you to read, and some of you already have, and some good podcasts to consider. And we'll continue to populate these things with more, but this is like consider the people to be the dominant people in the real estate industry for you guys to consider. So this is it for now of version 1 of the Eric Stewart Group portal. Can I ask any feedback? You guys give a thumbs up. You like it? You think this is going to be helpful? Let me know your thoughts. You can do it here. You can send me an email. If it's something that you don't like, let me know. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Thumbs up. Good.
I love it, Robert.
I like it, Robert.
Outstanding, Robert.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great job, guys.
It's awful.
You're so mean, man.
I just wanted to balance the dynamic out. You got a lot of thumbs up and grace. I just wanted to balance it out a little bit.
Can't wait to see the new website, Amir.
It's gonna be great.
Oh, it's gonna be
I'll tell you this
awful.
though, it won't be on Google.
So that's it. So this is what we have going on. So again, this is to make you more autonomous. Honestly, though, like I'm not saying that you cannot rely on us here in operations, but this is to really empower you to do the things that you need to do when you need them the most. And perhaps, like maybe Robert is not available, or Amir or Eric, or this is like on a weekend that you have to do something. You're like, how in the world I do something like this? And if it is something that is just a paperwork matter or just following the process, here you go. Now, if it's in a scenario where you're stuck in a negotiating an offer, a home inspection, a contract, definitely you need to get on a phone call with one of us to coach you and assist you with something like this. So this is here. I'll be sharing this with you guys pretty soon. Save it, use it. In order to use this portal, you have to log in into your Google email account. So if you use like a way to download you into like a Outlook, your email, work email, this won't work. You have to go to google.com, enter your work email, enter your password, and go into that world. That's like your login credentials for this thing. But if you use Outlook, this is not going to work. You have to always be logged in Google to work. Don't know to what point this is mobile friendly yet. I know that it should be very mobile friendly, but I have to do a little bit of testing. And of course, it's going to look very different than what it looks here right now. So that's what I can tell you so far. For the buyer's agents, I will probably do something separate from this meeting just to let you know, but our buyer consultation or presentation, digital presentation, it's almost done, 99% done. We're just making some changes. And so I wanted to go through the some of you agents that want to work with buyers too, wanted to show it to you. So later on, and it's customized for each of you. Like the listing presentation is going to be customized. It's going to be in Google, and it's available. So I'll definitely schedule a call with you also. We can go over, take a look at some feedback, make some changes. And the next thing will be after I'm done with that, it will be some sort of like, like on the listing side, we have the market ready guide that we give out to people as a way of hooking them to continue to interact with us. So we'll do the same on the buy side. Will be basically a nice booklet that we will be printing and so that you can hand out an appointments, coffee appointments, just to hand out. And basically it's going to be like a workbook. They're going to have place where they can make notes as they start seeing properties with you and stuff like that. That's going to take a little bit more time to work on that, but we're working on it. I'm not saying that it's going to start at some point down the future. No, we're already working on it. It just takes some time to do the right formatting and then the printing and have it available. But that's it. So if you guys sometimes don't get a hold of me, it's just because I've been super busy working on these things for your benefit and to the success of the Eric Stewart Group in 2022. That's it.
Excellent effort, Robert. Excellent.
Thanks, Robert. So essentially, Robert is saying stop texting him or email him for things you can get in this portal.
Really all over the place first. Sorry,
we
Robert.
get the memo. We get the memo.
You know what?
If you can Google it or put it in the portal, don't text me.
You know, it's not only that. This is an idea that I got from the book that I'm reading, Atomic Habits or Listening. We are also thinking, and I'll share this article also that I have, but we all always thinking that goals are actually the main thing that we need to concentrate. And honestly, though, goals are things that can actually send you back to old behaviors that you at some point didn't like, but you wanted to do a goal. It's like, January 1st, everybody wants to go back to the gym and lose some weight, right? You go to January 31st, like they say, like 2/3 of the people that committed to start losing weight have actually quit the commitment of going to the gym only because they didn't install a system in their brain. They only said, I want to have this goal. And, goals are very meaningless. Anybody can just say, I want to have a goal about this and that. It's about systems. So this is something that came out of that book and actually inspire me to do this thing that I created here, because I feel like it's about the systems, guys. It's not necessarily with the goals. Once we put the system in place, I think the goals is going to be just a matter of time to get to those goals. So if you are struggling with your goals, it's not your goals, guys. It's the systems. And if you need help with your systems, give me a call. Let's see what we can do to help you. That's it. Have a great Monday.
Wonderful. Good, good, good. Amir, have you already spoken to Amir? I missed it.
No, he didn't.
Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. Good. Well, great, guys. Anybody else have any questions about their goals for 2022? Have you been working on that and have a date to meet with Robert to go over that? Question mark.
Not yet. We don't have that, Eric. That's part of my today, going out to everybody
right.
to set up those appointments with me.
Good. So I'm scheduling time with each of you to grab lunch, and so when I'm reaching out to you, it's just because I want to spend a little time with you and make sure that Robert's really caring for you. And that he's not just passing you off to a website, right? So no, actually, it really hit home with me when he shared about processes and goals, because we all set goals for ourselves, but without the processes behind them, the goals then can become a means of self-condemnation. Do you all understand what I mean by that? That you can set a goal, and if you're not achieving it, whether it's a weight loss goal or whether it's a number of phone calls goal or a number of listings goal, and then I'm not hitting it, and then eventually it can get to the point where those voices in our head speak to us and say, "You're not good enough. You should be ashamed. You're not doing what you said you were going to do. You're a liar." All these voices that compete in our minds on a day-to-day basis that say you're not enough. And it's really not true. It's unfortunate that we all struggle at different ways with this, but by building processes and by following those processes, yes, we're going to slip. Yes, we're not going to be consistent, but we can get back on to a track and stick with the processes. Just trust the processes that are being set up here and follow those processes, and you will develop a very successful business here at the ESG. I think you all know that we are for you and that we are a family. And it's really important that that quality of our relationship stays strong, that we're not here to condemn, we're here to encourage. We're not here to criticize, we're here to instruct. We're here to be your main support and see your growth and see your success going forward. So trust those processes that have been established and spend the time. Take the time to go to the portal, get familiar with it, click around, go to it. It's kind of like going to the gym. When you haven't gone to the gym, I signed up for One Life back in January when they opened this new one up in Olney. I couldn't get into the classes I wanted to. I got discouraged. I didn't build a process of just going to the gym in. And it wasn't until really like 5 months later that I started to, but I had to go and I had to investigate. Y'all ever gone to the gym and walked around and thought, wow, these people really know what they're doing? Anybody ever felt that way? They've got this equipment here, and these guys are all like tanks, and I'm there like, Tiny Tim. They're like, yeah, I'm trying to act tough. I'm pushing out my my shoulders back, and yeah. And then I look in my mirror sideways, and I'm looking like I'm expecting. It's like, the discouragement is there if you don't just start a process of scratching at it, figuring it out. And to build your process here at the portal, get in there, just get it. It's like the gym. It's the real estate gym inside the portal. And it's an opportunity for you to develop your real estate muscles. It's going to take a little time, and you'll find yourself enjoying certain things. Like, you all don't know this, or some of you do, but I love to dance. And it is an unusual thing for a man to go take dance classes. Can we all agree on that? Okay. So I'm totally into Zumba, and I've got the Latin thing down, Robert. Okay. So, but getting in there and just actually, starting, it was just like, I stood in the very back. It's hard to miss me. Everybody else is like here and I'm here, but you get in there and you're just trying to learn, get those muscles working. You get my point, right? It's just, I had to go to the gym consistently. And then over time, I became more comfortable letting go in dancing. I became more comfortable in doing pull-ups. Now I do about 45 to 50 pull-ups every time I go to the gym. And I do dips and I do all kinds of things. But it took me time and I had to build it, and I have my little routine down. And now I've got a process, which is I take my Zumba or my dance class, whatever it is, and then I work out with weights for 30 minutes and then I go home. And then I've built my process, and it's really important. So anyway, build that process for yourself, exercise your real estate muscles, go to the portal, use the portal, spend time on the website, ESG website, become more and more familiar as we launch that. I want to just thank you all again. I thank you for the many texts that I've received from you to say thanks for the turkey. If for any reason you did not get a turkey, I'd like you to tell me that, because we ordered one for everybody on the team. And it was just my personal way of saying how grateful I am for you and for the relationship that I have with each of you. I want to see my time investing in you to see you successful. And I've built processes into my life now to make that more of a priority. So expect that from me. And I look forward to spending more time with you in the coming year. That's all I wanted to communicate with you this morning. Is there anything else anybody else has a question about or would like to discuss today?
If it's okay with you, Eric, I'm going to give you a call in like just a few minutes after this meeting. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Right here. Yep. All right. Anybody else?
No, doesn't look like it.
All righty. Well, you all have a wonderful day. And thanks again for being a part of the group.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Bye, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Bye.